without our bodies, then we aren't reducible to our bodies. Some shit like that. I would
You
need
never
to.
said, wait, is it this going to be external, right? You didn't say this inside the debate, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you said we can conceive of somebody, we can conceive of properties not existing.
Let me get the formalized version real quick. What the
Oh
fuck?
man, all our ailments. Well, somebody watch the recording. Jesus Christ. Give me perms back. I swear to God, I'm a Superman punch that nigga broadly in his chin. Well, Satori's give me. I mean, who's in here? Satori, give me some of my perms back or something. Or Kuro, yeah, Kuro, give me some of my perms back or something until I get all my perms. No one's watching that, Rick. Shut your ugly hillbilly ass up, you big belly back bitch. I swear to God, your ass about Bill.
That was funny as shit. That caught me off guard.
You're such a bot.
That nigga said you.
Yeah, I was lying,
back
man.
bitch.
He did better than that nigga Saucy. Oh my God, bro. I was confused about his argument. Shut up, Ghost Fog. Like, kick your grandma down the stairs.
What the fuck? I'm
Nigga,
lost.
your grandma fell downstairs and you got a reboot card just for her to fall down again.
Yeah, she was like, oh my God. Yeah, you couldn't respond to that, can you?
Anyway, nigga, what?
Bro, why is Ryko talking like every debate we hear of Ryko, he's getting annually butt fucking
That
rhetorical?
nigga
I was
just had
gonna
like a
say, like,
schizo attack.
Ryko, you're horrible. Ryko, you're not good.
Why are we hating on Ryko?
Who the
He
fuck
just
is
said,
Ryko?
he literally said both are, this debate is so
Ray?
ass.
It was
He
ass,
literally was
like,
calling
bro.
y'all ass. He literally compared y'all debate to Sync versus
I
Nexus.
was about to say that discussion was ass. Like, I don't disagree with him.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, okay. I found it. I fucking found it. There we go. I have a clear, distinct idea of the mind as a thinking, non-extended thing. I have a clear, distinct idea of the body as an extended, non-thinking thing. Therefore, the mind is really distinct from the body and can exist without it.
It's
Like that.
distinct from the body?
Yeah, man.
Of course, it's going to be distinct from the body. Some of the mind properties are going to not be distinct from the body. Body holds some type of, some type of functionality for it to move, but that's going to be like parasitic upon the mind. So, of course, the body's just contingent upon the mind for it to do set actions. The set actions for what for the mind to formulate these set actions out of the mind. I mean, for the mind to formulate these set actions, it has to be some type of properties, not some type of properties, but some type of the fuck is it? Because it was somebody presented this argument to me last time, and like Eric was helping me with it.
Bro, why is Kuro trying to be rhetorical and not trying to address me my fucking shin or asylum? Like, yo, can we ban this?
Wait, how? Because maybe I'm tweaking any of what you said. It didn't sound like it like defeated or responded to the argument.
No, I'm saying that. Okay, I'm saying that the mind and body.
Hold on. Let me type this out so I can track it. Clearly, I have this thing. So, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying that the body and mind can be distinct, but the properties are not going to be distinct. That's just the simplified version of the argument. It's not that hard.
Be distinct. That's not an argument, but you're saying so the body and mind can be distinct, but the properties can still both be physical.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do you know So
is that your response to the argument? So what's the argument for this?
Again, the parsimony argument once again.
So what's the parsimonious argument? Can you like lay it out premise for premise?
Again, okay. I'll just write it down because you probably won't track it if I just say it.
You talk a lot.
That's why I say you can't track. If I know that your brain.
You talk a lot,
and
I have a short-term memory loss. So like, you really gotta chill with me here, bro.
Yeah, that just proves that you cannot track. It's okay.
What do you mean?
You just say you have a short-term memory loss. That means that you cannot track everything that was said or everything that was already pre-existing there.
Why do you say pre-existingly?
Because
obviously the short-term memory loss was a joke. Nigga.
No, I think it's gonna be like more acceptable to say that you have short-term
memory. The argument out
because like non-arguments. But premise one. What should I say for premise one? I never broke it down in like a syllogistic format. Body, no, brain, identical to mind. Nope, I'm retarded.
Let's have a good faith conversation here.
Anyways, brain has some type of Identical properties with the mind.
And by the way, I'm not even a dualist.
I don't
So,
care.
no, I need to let you know that. I'm not anything. I'm not a dualist nor a physicalist.
Yeah, it's too bad, nigga. You're arguing against something, right?
I'm sorry arguing against you.
Yeah, so you have the negation towards the position that I'm positing, right?
Not good nor faithful or faithful. The first one wasn't good or faithful. I didn't even lay an actual argument out.
Yeah,
Well,
it was
not
just
the intentionality argument.
rhetoric like a
Nigga,
retard.
where's the fucking argument, nigga? We
I'm
wait.
typing it. I never typed it in like a syllogistic format. You just told me to do it. I never typed it in, and so I'm making it now.
Okay, man. I'm over here looking at my screen, waiting. I want to see if I can defend this knowledge argument against Smoothie of all people.
This nigga said of all people, while going like, why me low diffing them today.
You didn't low diff me. In fact, you didn't even win. You
Yeah.
misrepresent. No, you can no dead ass. Later on, go into the rec if like whenever you get the time and listen to what I said and then listen how you represented my point. I dead ass didn't say half the shit you said. I said.
You just can't track, man. I swear to God. Like when I look at this, your name is gonna be non-tracking Sharz in my server. I swear to God. And if I like, let's say responded to all the like, let's say.
If you responded to every single one of my points, I will give you nitro.
I was finna say all the ones that's not gonna be redundant. All the ones that's not gonna be redundant.
I would say what you deem redundant might be different from what I deem redundant.
Okay.
And another thing too, I was going to say another. Just hurry up and lay out the argument. Just another thing too. If you're going to go into some like interpretation battle, saying you interpreted X when I obviously meant Y, and then I just wouldn't care for it.
Yeah, it just sounds like another way of coping. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I think going out of your way to interpret someone's words differently to cope is like, let me try to get a dub is actually saying.
No, I'm saying you're coping because you think that I interpreted the words that you're saying.
That's not what I said. I said if.
Yeah, again, that if is going to impose a possibility, right? No response. Okay, you just got stun locked for some reason.
It's just a condition.
Yeah, so then that condition is going to be a possible condition.
No shit.
Then how are you getting knowledge clipped by a nigga that doesn't have knowledge, man? It's insane. Brain is physical.
Where did you knowledge clip me? I'm confused. This nigga just be saying shit, bro.
Brain is physical because it is vacation. So your argument is just the body and the mind are being the same thing, not the brain and the mind. Or you think that? Do you agree that the hold on? Do you agree that the brain and mind, I mean the brain and the body are going to be some type of physical substance, right?
Of course.
And you think let's just say the brain is going to be a part of your body, correct?
Okay.
Not the mind, the brain.
Okay.
Okay. So we can agree. So this would pertain to the argument there. All right, you can write it.
So let's look at this real quick.
You're right. Notes might be necessary to track whatever this retard is talking about. Like I don't know.
So let's be nice, man. Let's not call people retards. So let's look over this. Premise one: brain has some identical properties with the mind. Smoothie, we're better than this.
I'm not finna write down like a fleshed out like a syllogism over like a simple argument or a simple discussion. But I forgot to write something out of there.
No, I would say unless this argument is unless you're forgetting something, this argument by premise one alone is like textbook begging the question.
Oh yeah, brain has some type of identical properties with the mind. Then I give the okay, never mind. I just give the justification. But basically, let me redo it. Let me redo the conclusion. Oh, that's all. So it's not making a question because your argument is just saying that it's going to be the brain and body are not going to be the same thing. I mean, the mind and body is not going to be the same thing. I'm saying the mind and brain are going to be holding identifying properties. I mean, identical properties. If the identical properties, I mean, if those properties are going to be identical, it's going to be more parsimony to accept that the two things are going to be the same. You already agree that the brain and mind.
Pause. I wasn't listening. Can you repeat that and like summarize it?
Okay, yeah. Basically, I'm saying brain has some type of identical properties with the mind. I'm saying it's not making a question because your argument is just saying that the mind and body are not going to be the same thing. And I'm saying that the mind and brain are going to have some type of identifiable properties or identical properties or whatever. If they're going to have some type of identical properties, and you already agreed that the brain and body are going to be the brain is going to be a part of the body, and the brain is going to be physical and it holds some type of identical properties with the brain. Therefore, we can accept that the mind is going to be physical due to parsimony.
All right, so I ain't gonna lie, half of what you said went in one ear and came out the other. But
my lord!
I was about to say you take way too long typing. I'm not typing, fucking talking.
You just did like 7-minute conclusion.
Yeah. No, nigga, I can give 7-minute conclusion, but
I
don't remember. I don't forget my own points. That's the thing.
I did not forget my point.
But so is this like a revised version of the
not even
argument?
half of yours.
Is this like a revised version of the argument? Like, do you want me to delete the other version, or do you want me to like just keep that up there and then put this as revised? What you want me to do, bro?
Mercury has some physical, similar, identical properties to water. Water is physical. Mercury must be physical. Yeah. Not necessarily, but
Okay. All right. Wait. Pause. Mine has some identical property. The brain has some identical properties with the mind. Can you clarify more on that? What do you mean by that?
what I mean by identical properties, it has some type of properties that are going to be similar with each other or the exact same, which I already provided evidence for, which I can get again.
What's the evidence for that? If you're talking
saying
about the other debate, I don't care for the other debate. All that is external to this. So can you repeat?
providing evidence again.
ChatGPT. Functionality, both the mind and brain are involved in processes, thoughts, memories, and the brain's neural networks and structures, facilities, the mind experience. Blah blah blah. This doesn't. Wait, hold on. Let me read all of it before I say something. The brain's physical health impacts the mind's capabilities. For example, injuries, disease, blah blah blah, mental reasoning. Provide explanations, but struggles to address instance shown. So this is just the entire thing. All right, so how does this necessarily defeat the dualistic view? What if I just posit parallelism?
Are you just saying that those two things can exist collaboratively?
Yeah, it's parallelism basically says that the mind and the brain are parallel to each other, so they may seem to have some sort of correlation, but no, in actuality, they are just like, how do I put this? One flows in some sort of like deterministic way, and both flows in the deterministic way, and we're both seemingly correlate to each other. I mean, not correlate, correspond to each other when they actually don't.
Oh no, yeah. For example, like that's why I'm saying parsimony. My argument is just going to be more parsimony, and because if you're just saying that when we look at the brain and the mind, they seem to hold some type of identification or some type of identical properties with each other. Therefore, but that doesn't entail it's still going to be the same thing because you're being dualistic. You're just saying that the brain and mind can hold, let's just say, a parallel, and that's a parallel can hold some type of seemingly some type of identification towards a previously existing thing, but they still can be different properties. But I'm just saying mine is more probable to accept because of the identification in our epistemic axis.
Well, right now, what's in question is the identification. Because if parallelism goes through, then no, there is actually no identification.
No, parallelism doesn't go through. That's what we're arguing upon. I'm saying that
No, I was about to say, wait, hold up, pause. So when I asked you that, you basically said you've repeated the conclusion of the argument, saying it would be more parsimonious due to the identification. I said, what if parallelism, as in like it could be just parallelism, and then you know how you see how that doesn't really respond to parallelism, as in like you just repeating the conclusion when the conclusion is in question by putting one of the premises in question, actually the main premise in the question. It would just be like, brother, come on, okay.
Okay, so I don't want to go to conclusion on this point just yet, but I just feel the need that we need to. But no, if you're just saying that your argument or what you're gonna do like with parallelism by just stating that they said things can look parallel or they can be parallel and seemingly hold some type of, let's say, identical properties with each other. Therefore, but that still wouldn't entail that it's gonna be fully identical with the previously existing, which is the brain, correct? That's parallelism, right?
Wait, say that last part again.
Just because it's parallel doesn't entail it's gonna hold the same properties, the totality of properties.
Yeah, I was going to say, as in they're parallel, and seemingly that they're like identical or correlate to each other when they actually don't, because you know they're parallel nature.
So you agree that there are some type of identification or identifiable properties
No.
with the mind. Okay, but I provided it.
No, you stated it, and then I called into question the evidence you provided with the parallelism.
No, when I stated the claim, I provided evidence for the claim, which is saying that functionality, interdependence, adaptability, decision making, body functioning, effects of drugs and chemicals, etc.
I was going to say that's all in question. All of that in premise one is in question with parallelism. I said all of that in premise one is in question. So let me give you an example, right? If I have two lines parallel to each other, and then one line turns and the other line turns, but they both turn at the exact same degree in the exact same way, the very exact same way, but you see how they aren't identical,
No, I
but they
don't.
have sort of correlation due to them being parallel.
No, because the presupposition that you're gonna make is just saying that they both turn in the same way. But like let's say we have evidence for the second let's say the second wheel turn in some way, but it's not gonna be identical with the previously existing. Then we could say that it's not gonna be identical because we have evidence for it not being identical. But I'm saying what we're arguing upon is just that the evidence of not mind being non-physical. I'm saying it would be more parsimonious to accept that what we seem to be the case is more going to be more probable until we get justification, until that seemingly is going to be inadequate. For example, if I say that our that's why I'm saying I'm using phenomenal conservatism by just saying our seemingly is going to be more probable to accept. That's why phenomenal conservatism and like parsimony argument is going to like be correlative. I'm just saying that what seemingly is the case is going to be more probable, and that probabilistic claim is going to be like via parsimony.
Yeah, and with your parsimony, your premise one for the justification for the parsimonious claim and the evidence you sent for the justification for your parsimonious claim would all be in question. So again, restating the parsimonious claim doesn't really help your point here. You would just be repeating yourself.
You want to go to conclusion?
All right, bro.
All right, you can get conclusions. I gotta do something.
Okay, so I call it. He gave an argument, and I'll repeat the argument. Premise one: the brain has identical properties with the mind, and what he meant by this is they have similar properties, are going to be the same, right? Cool. Then he proceeded to send evidence from ChatGPT with stating things like interdependence, the brain and mind control and depend on each other, adaptability, both can learn new things, adapt to outside factors such as social interaction and learning, decision making, both help the decision making process, bodily function, both help the body function properly, such as with the body part movements, effects of drugs, chemicals, both can be affected by drugs and chemicals, blah, blah, blah. So this was the justification for premise one he said. Right? So I called into question this with saying, well, what if it could just be parallel to each other? As in, yeah, I read all of them. So yeah, what if they could just be parallel to each other instead of them actually being like, correlative or I mean, not correlated because they would be correlated, not identical to each other, right? As in, they aren't one and the same. And then, at least from what I heard, it sounded like he just reposited the parsimony claim with the argument he gave. But the premise one, the main premise for the argument he gave would be in question, and the evidence he sent for the justifier for this being the case would also be in question. So I genuinely don't understand how he's coming to the conclusion that it would be more parsimonious if the parsimony itself, the evidence or the justification for the parsimony itself is unjustified. He goes back to saying that they're identical or correlative or like have some sort of similar properties. Obviously they could be, but right now we both would just hold equal possibilities with no actual preponderance leading to one side or the other. So I don't think he won this point due to the equal possibilities rather than,
Yeah, here come the axiomatic warrior right quick. But basically my argument, I give like premise one, premise two, in conclusion. Basically, we didn't even get past premise one. But basically he said that I said brain has some type of identical properties with the mind. He said, what if the two things are just gonna be parallel? They can seem to hold some type of identical properties or whatever, but it's not gonna be the case in actuality. I'm saying that said seemingly is gonna be more probable to accept the possible contrary. If I say that the said thing, this door seemingly looks like a door, but somebody said, oh, that could be an extra dimensional portal. I'm saying that seemingly will have to be justified over the possible contrary. I'm saying, and I also said, let's say, for example, it's going to be more parsimonious, except that those two things are going to be the same thing, or they're both going to be physical because of the identification that they both hold. We know that the identification that they both hold is functionality, interdependence, adaptability, decision making, body functions, etc., like drugs and stuff. They hold some type of identification. I'm saying that identification will also exert that said claim is going to be more parsimonious to accept that those two things are going to be identical. Those two things are going to be identical with the properties, which is physical. That's basically all. I don't know what was like the tangent for.
What do you mean the tangent, nigga? I concluded, but
yeah,
man, let me say it in peace, like while he's not here. So hold up. You see how he always has to play this weird ass semantic game by when I say this, I actually meant this, or when I say this, I actually meant this, or when you said that, I interpreted as this. Like this nigga always plays some weird ass semantic game and expect niggas to be able to read his fucking shitty ass mind, bro. Like this nigga don't even know what the hell he's saying. But yeah, man. I'm gonna give my conclusion first. I know he's gonna sit here and add new points into his conclusion so that he can attempt to attack it, but I'm not even sure if he's gonna do that shit right. So number one, we started off on whether or not the mind, well, not in the mind, science or physicalism takes accounts for qualia, right? His response was that it would be more parsimonious to accept that it takes account for qualia. But then I say, well, given our analysis, you're saying my mic is low. I can hear the echo on somebody else's mic.
I mean, it went low again. Like, that's the third time it's happening.
I'm about to say I can hear myself in somebody else's mic though, like just clear and fine.
Fuck.
But yeah, man, I can get on my phone.
I could still hear him, but he was just really low at first.
So besides the point, right? The first point was on whether or not like qualia was identical to some sort of physical substance, right? And then I said, well, given our analysis, there is no seeming that it's sort of like identical to other things. And then I give an argument against it now.
Yo, it's Ghost. It's Ghost. This is noise suppression. That's why.
He proceeds to give like some sort of very shitty parsimony argument. Hold on, let's go back to it. Let's scroll up to it. Let's read this off for y'all real quick. Right. Where's my message at? All right, it's going to be more parsimonious to accept because of its identification and epistemic access. That was his response to my intentionality argument about how physical objects don't possess intentionality or aboutness, while mental objects do, right? And then I was like, cool. So I looked over his argument and then saw there was one thing. He said it's identification. When he says identification, this wasn't recorded, but earlier he referenced it to a physical object. So when he says identification, well, what's in question is whether or not it's identical or one-to-one with a physical object. So him saying, well, premise one, it's because of its identification to physical objects or some sort of physical processes. Well, that's what's in question, buddy. So when you use what's in question to justify, your conclusion, then that's just simply begging the question. I don't really know how else to put it. And then not only that, but again, he called into question epistemics. I know this part wasn't recorded either, so I'll just get Shin to vouch real quick. Yo, Shin. Didn't he call into question our epistemics and then saying using our epistemics to posit something within our epistemic scope is retarded? As in, like, given our epistemics, we know this is the case, and he said that's stupid. All right, cool. So this nigga uses what's in question, something he called into question, to justify his conclusion. Like, it's actually bad. This nigga had the audacity to go, oh, well, given our epistemic limits, we don't actually know if this thing is not reducible to, physical objects given an analysis. I'm like, then I invoke the same logic against them. Well, given our epistemic limits, we don't know whether or not the mind is actually reducible to the physics instead of it just being some sort of epistemic limit. And then he just proceeded to repeat his claim, saying, well, it would be identifiable more parsimonious to accept it as one-to-one object of nature without justifying how any physical objects have any aboutness or intentionality. It's bad. And then not only that, let's scroll down a little bit to see what this is rambling about.
So long his conclusion. Yo, whose mic
we
is
need to go
echoing?
over everything because this nigga Smoothie spams like 9 points in a single like talking time. So I gotta respond to all of it, right? So yeah, man. Then when he agreed that he agreed that the mind possesses subjectivity or qualia. But then when I ask him, cool, then what physical object is it identical to? Or what physical anything is it identical to? They don't even need to be like some sort of hyper-specific property. Just what is it physically identical to? He couldn't give me one. He said, oh, well, I don't know, but it can just be reducible to physics due to the parsimony. I'm like, no, because, well, given my analysis is not defeated, and you don't even know whether or not it's reducible know anything about this object, to be honest. You don't know whether or not it's reducible to this, that, or that. Then you would be conceding your own position. You don't know whether or not everything is reducible to physics, or whether or not everything in the mind is reducible to physics. So that's the other point. And then there's a whole new point on whether or not what's that shit called? the invalidity of his argument. There we go. He uses premise 1 to say that it's identical to some sort of physical object or some sort of physical being. And then his premise 2 was that given our epistemic limits, which he already called in the question, which was I, his conclusion would be it's more parsimonious to accept, right? So if you're positing that it's identical to this, how are you going to conclude that it's more parsimonious that it's identical to this? If you already posited definitively that it's identical to this, I can read the argument off again because of his identification to this physical nature. So, yeah, man. The argument is logically invalid. It begs the question, and you're begging the question for your own question, bro. So it's actually bad. It's not looking good for you, man. You can unmute him. He's just gonna ramble.
Oh my god, bro, it's gonna be the two
This
longest
nigga
conclusions
talked
in
for
history.
17 hours. I'm glad I wrote all that shit down. Okay. Sorry.
God damn.
Okay, hold on, but he just saying, well, given our analysis is not going to behold any physical properties that we know of inside of our reality. My response to that is just saying, stop typing, you doofus ass nigga. That was not my response, but my response is just saying to that is just saying that we have no evidence for that being the case or whatever. And I told him that we have no analysis to justify that claim being the case. Also told him our epistemic limitation says that we don't have evidence for it to be reducible to any physical properties that exist in our universe via our epistemology, which wouldn't entail it's going to be the contrary, which is non-physical. Also said that mine is going to be more parsimonious because of the properties. I have to say it's going to be more parsimony. It's going to be more parsimonious than his because mine is saying the reason it's going to be more parsimony is because of identification and epistemics. Yours is saying our epistemology. So mine is going to be more parsimonious to accept. You also said I would be conceding to my own position because I don't know the physical properties is identical towards, which I said that is just gonna it's gonna be what we don't have to know what physical substance is identical to. We just have to entail it's gonna be physical due to the parsimony argument. I'm just saying that it doesn't have to hold any identification to the physical matters that we have, or we have some type of epistemics towards inside of our reality. That doesn't entail it's not gonna defeat the fact that said mind is gonna be reducible towards said something that's gonna be physical because the identification of the mind and brain holding some type of, let's say, identifiable properties. If they hold some type of identifiable properties, then we can say that it's going to be more parsimonious to accept that they're going to be hold the same properties in totality. It just posits less possibilities. Then you said that you said one part of the brain is going to be you said you brought analysis, put the analysis in the question. You said one part of the brain is going to be non-physical. I told you give the evidence for it. You still haven't. You just keep repeating the claim. That's just basically my conclusion. This nigga just called me Smoothie Richard. And that's all. Like I told you, my conclusion is gonna be like way less like thought out than it is.
Oh god, that was actually bad. Yeah, you can save this. You misrepresented